Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
Sebastian stared out of the meeting chamber toward the kaleidoscopic horizon of Zephyron, a world unlike anything he had ever known. Tall spires made of shimmering metal rose, like fingers reaching for the dual suns, bathing the vibrant cities in a golden embrace. This was not Earth. It was a realm pulsating with energy and life, where the air crackled with a sense of wonder and danger. He had come to Zephyron as a soldier during a tense diplomatic mission. Yet, a single moment had turned his life upside down, a split-second choice to save an alien child from a collapsing structure. It had forged a bond between him and the Zephyrian people, but now it also tethered him to an enormous debt, a debt he was only beginning to understand. The leader of the Zephyrian delegation, Oryx, strode into the chamber. His striking azure skin glimmered like polished glass under the lights, and his elongated features held a mix of authority and wisdom. "You have saved our kin, human," he said, his voice smooth yet resonant. "There are traditions we adhere to, customs that bind us. You have not only saved a life, but you have now crossed into our covenant, the bond of family." Sebastian felt the weight of Oryx's words sinking in, but confusion clouded his thoughts. "I didn't do it for a reward, Oryx," he replied, his brow furrowed. "I just acted." "Your heart speaks volumes," Oryx responded, his gaze piercing through Sebastian's defenses. "This is not about mere debt, it is about honor. To repay your courage, we offer you a choice. You will take the hand of my wife, Leora, and ensure the protection of my daughter, Kelia. This will fulfill the bond between our peoples." Sebastian's breath hitched in his throat. Leora, a woman of ethereal beauty with crystalline green eyes, was one of the political figures that helped uphold peace between their worlds. The implications of Oryx's offer shook him to his core. Marrying an alien? Leaving his old life behind, possibly forever? "Wait, you're asking me to marry her?" he echoed, disbelief flickering across his features. He couldn't shake the image of his life back on Earth. The concrete jungles, the coffee-stained mornings, the friendships that formed through years of shared experiences. Could this be his path now? Oryx's demeanor remained steady. "In our culture, family is everything. Love arises from duty, and from duty blooms the bond." He took a step closer, his eyes piercing through Sebastian's doubts. "Your acceptance will grant peace and unity. It will fortify our alliance. You will gain support from my family and my people." Sebastian turned his gaze to the window again, seeing nothing but swirling colors as he processed the magnitude of the decision before him. It felt surreal, almost like a fantastical tale that had recorded history outside of reality. "What if Leora doesn't want this?" he asked, suddenly concerned for her feelings in this complex web of obligations. "She feels the weight of this as well," Oryx clarified. "But in the end, it is the choice that must be made together." As Oryx left, a sense of dread settled in the chamber, twisting around Sebastian's chest. The choice he faced was not merely one of logistics. It was a crossing of cultures that would affect not only him, but two entire worlds. Sebastian found himself standing in the opulent hall of Oryx's estate, the air thick with anticipation as he prepared to meet Leora. The walls shimmered with intricate patterns that shifted colors like the northern lights, and the ambient sounds of Zephyron, a symphony of nature and technology, whispered around him. A flow of chaos churned within his stomach as he awaited this fateful introduction. What would Leora think of the unexpected arrangement? The uncertainty gnawed at him, but he steeled himself with the knowledge that he had to embrace this alien world, if only out of respect for the life he had saved. Just then, a door at the far side of the hall slid open gracefully, revealing Leora. Her appearance took Sebastian's breath away, her beauty radiant and otherworldly. She bore an elegance that spoke of strength and wisdom, her long hair flowing like tendrils of smoke, shifting from deep green to silver as she moved. "Sebastian," she greeted, her voice melodious, yet it held an undercurrent of caution. "The one who saved our child." Her luminous eyes studied him, seeking to understand the human before her. "It was nothing really," he replied, attempting to diffuse the weight of the moment despite the gravity of his situation. "I just did what anyone would have done." "No," she said, stepping closer, her presence commanding yet inviting. What you did is everything. You acted out of love for another being. Such deeds are rare, even in my world. He felt exposed under her gaze, as if she could see every doubt he harbored. Oryx extended an offer. He began hesitantly. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this arrangement. Leora tilted her head with curiosity. The union is a tradition to honor your courage, and it binds our fates. My heart is open to what this means for us, even if it is born from obligation. Her voice softened, revealing a vulnerability. Yet it is my choice too, is it not? Sebastian nodded, feeling grateful for her candor. Of course. I wouldn't want you to feel forced into anything. Several moments passed where silence enveloped them, the tension weighing in the air. He could see traces of uncertainty in her expression, a flicker of doubt reflecting back at him. Struck by the weight of the responsibility, Sebastian felt a connection simmering beneath their discourse, a connection that transcended language and cultural barriers. Perhaps we can learn from each other, Leora suggested. Will you show me your world, and I, in turn, will reveal mine? That sounds fair, Sebastian replied, an unexpected smile breaking through his apprehension. I'd like to know more about you, about Zephyron. It's incredible here. Leora's smile warmed him like sunlight breaking through the clouds. And the same for you, human, she replied. We must bridge the gaps of our worlds, or we fear losing what is valuable. He could already sense an uncharted adventure awaiting them, a journey that could intertwine two very different lives. As they began to converse, discussing the intricacies of both their cultures, their laughter mingling amidst the hall of dreams, it was as if they were drawing threads of connection, weaving a tapestry that transcended the boundaries of their origins. Hours passed swiftly, and the bond began to take root, each story shared revealing the hopes, fears, and joys inherent in both cultures. Though external conflicts loomed, within their dialogue lay the promise of something profound, an understanding that could forge an unbreakable alliance. As they stood together by a window, gazing at the swirling hues of the evening sky, Sebastian felt a flicker of hope gather momentum inside him. Maybe this could work. Perhaps the lines of duty and destiny were not so separate after all. The days turned to weeks as the initial agreement began to transform into an unexpected partnership. Sebastian and Leora navigated the tangled web of their cultures, sharing before-dinner conversations filled with laughter and learning, while also engaging in the serious work of preparing for what was to come. Sebastian found joy in introducing Leora to Earth's customs, movies, music, and food. They spent evenings watching films on a projection device, Leora marveling at the human imagination reflected on screen. There was laughter when she witnessed a comedy, laughter that felt warm and inviting. But it was their time in the kitchen, crafting meals from Sebastian's memories, where their connections truly began to bind. Show me this. Pizza, Leora insisted, her eyes widening with curiosity. Is it a meal or a form of art? It's both, actually, he replied, unable to suppress a grin. Let's make a pizza from scratch. Sebastian led her through the steps, his hands deft as he kneaded the dough while Leora observed, her eyes alight with fascination. They laughed when flour flew across the counter, and when the cheese melted in the oven, the aroma wrapped around them like a comforting hug. Delicious, Leora exclaimed as they finally sat down to sample their creation. Her expression was one of pure delight, and in it, he saw the potential for shared experiences, moments that transcended their differences. Yet, beneath this growing warmth lingered the shadow of obligation. Leora often wore a facade of strength, but moments of uncertainty danced in her gaze, reflective of her internal struggles with being part of such an unorthodox arrangement. On one occasion, during a quiet evening, she spoke about her fears in a way that surprised him. Sebastian, as much as I embrace this with you, I contend with the weight of our traditions pressing down on me. Our society views this bond not simply as personal, it is political and cultural. I fear how it may be perceived by others, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. He could see it in her eyes, the burden of societal expectations clashing with her personal feelings. They don't have to define who you are, Leora, he urged gently. This is about us. We can set our own path, regardless of what others think. Her gaze met his, brimming with gratitude, yet the lines of uncertainty still marred her features. But what if they do not accept me? What if I am not enough as a bridge between our worlds? Look at what we've created so far, Sebastian said, gesturing to the remnants of their meal, a jumble of pizza slices, laughter, and memories already shared. We're writing our own story. It doesn't have to follow the script others expect. He took her hand across the table, his grasp reassuring. Together, they could shape the perceptions of both their cultures. Then came the gathering, the ceremonial dinner designed to announce their bond to both families, a pivotal moment for all involved. Leora described lounging under the multicolored asteroids on the open balcony of Orcs' estate. We will present ourselves as a family, and it will be daunting, she warned, her fingers nervously fidgeting with the edge of the tablecloth. Together we can face that, Sebastian reassured, his heart beating in tandem with hers. Let your family see us for who we truly are. As the day of the gathering approached, a wave of anxiety swept over them both. They spent hours preparing. Then, the night arrived. Under the glow of luminescent crystals that floated around like stars carefully placed among the shrubbery, guests began to trickle in. Visitors from both worlds, many adorned in colorful attire that mirrored the vibrant atmosphere. Sebastian felt a mixture of pride and fear as he and Leora greeted each guest. He could see the curiosity in their eyes and the whispers that spread like wildfire, both fascinated and hesitant toward their union. He had never been in the midst of a gathering where two cultures collided so intensely, the air thick with unspoken questions and tension. Leora stood by his side, her fingers intertwined with his. She was his anchor. I am grateful you stand with me, she murmured, anxiety threading her voice. Always, he replied firmly, squeezing her hand as they stepped into the spotlight. They began with small talk, sharing stories, traditions, and dishes, a meal blending flavors and ideas from their respective homelands. However, the atmosphere shifted as some guests whispered and shifted uncomfortably. Finally, a voice cut through the crowd, an elder from Leora's kin, a robust woman whose face bore the weight of centuries. Leora, you tread a dangerous path. This union is unorthodox, and for what? Is it worth risking our customs? The sudden confrontation pierced through the gathering, which fell silent, tension crackling in the air. Leora straightened her spine, her fears resurfacing like shadows. Sebastian could feel her hesitation, ready to retreat under the scrutiny. But he couldn't allow this moment to define them. With steady conviction, he stepped forward, his voice loud and unwavering. I don't expect everyone to understand, but what matters most is what Leora and I share, and the potential for something brighter, something that brings our worlds closer together. Leora's gaze found his, sparks igniting as they began to weave the tale of their bond, highlighting the beauty in their differences, the potential of combining their cultures and creating a legacy that stood apart from expectation. As the night progressed, their words encapsulated both worlds, the laughter, the joy, and the unity shared in the face of opposition. It took time, but slowly eyes began to open, and hearts began to soften. In that moment, Sebastian realized the true significance of the bond they were forming. It was not only a union of two lives, but an opportunity for peace across cultures, a promise of new beginnings even when faced with the weight of tradition. The atmosphere of the gathering shifted over the following days, after the dinner where Sebastian and Leora had begun to display their bond. Whispers of acceptance replaced doubt, and the community of Zephyron started to warm to the idea of their unconventional union. Even the most skeptical guests could see the sincerity in their eyes, the promise of a partnership built on mutual respect and trust. Yet amid the gathering momentum lay a deeper layer, the encroaching emotion of Leora's daughter, Kelia. A child of just 6 cycles, she was remarkably perceptive, her bright eyes reflecting the curiosity and innocence that defined her age. However, Sebastian had noticed something both endearing and troubling within her demeanor, an uncertainty that she appeared to harbor about accepting him as part of her family. One afternoon, while they played together in the estate's expansive gardens, amid blooming flora and sparkles of light from the floating crystals, he decided it was time for a heart-to-heart. Kelia had been picking at the vibrant flowers, her small fingers delicately tracing the petals, yet her mind seemed to linger elsewhere. "Hey there, Kelia," he began softly, kneeling beside her in the grass. "Would you like to show me your favorite flower?" She looked at him, her hesitance evident. "They remind me of my old home," she whispered. Before you and Mother began to share your time." Sebastian's heart ached for her. "It's okay to miss it. Change is hard, right? It must be strange for you." Kelia nodded, her expression shifting from sadness to curiosity. "Will you really stay? Will you be like the others?" "What do you mean by like the others?" he asked, intrigued. "Others in stories," she explained shyly. "Many stories about humans tell of bad things. I don't want you to be that person." Sebastian's chest tightened as he realized the burden of perception weighing on Kelia, a child who had witnessed far too much for her young age. "I promise you, I'm not like the stories," he said sincerely. "I'm here because I want to be. You and your mother are important to me." Her large eyes searched his face for truth, and he felt an emotional swell within him. "Would you like me to tell you a story about Earth? It might help you understand who I am," he offered. Kelia nodded enthusiastically, her curiosity easing the tension in her shoulders. "Okay," he began, recounting tales of Earth, their vibrant cities, the laughter of children playing in parks, and the adventures of everyday life. He shared stories of his childhood, filled with petty mischief and friendship, painting a picture of humanity that contrasted starkly with the tales of conflict Kelia might have heard. As he spoke, Kelia's joyous laughter filled the garden, the clouds of uncertainty seeming to lift, replaced with fascination and wonder. It was as if the connection between them began to solidify. A bridge was emerging, woven from understanding and adventure. Leora appeared in the distance, observing them play. She could see the bond forming, a bond far more potent than tradition could dictate. "You have a way with her," Leora remarked as she approached. "Thanks," Sebastian replied, glancing toward Kelia with a smile. "She's amazing. She just needs to know she's safe, and that she can trust me." "Trust is a dangerous gift," Leora said, her expression shifting to a more serious tone. "You must understand that it comes slowly, especially when it is offered for the first time." "I know," he nodded, the reality of their circumstances settling heavily in the air between them. "But we have this time together, and I will do everything I can to show her that I'm worth that trust." Days melted into each other as they navigated their new lives, the warmth of laughter mixing with the complexities of their emerging family unit. Each moment felt rich with potential. They visited places of significance on Zephyron, learned from one another, and together they began to intertwine their lives further. There was a captivating sense of joy shared at every meal, with dishes and stories exchanged, moments of laughter and questions that led to deeper understandings. Kelia thrived under their shared knowledge, her walls slowly crumbling as she grew to cherish both Sebastian and Leora. But dark clouds began to gather on the horizon. Rumors of unease trickled in from outside the estate, whispers of dissent movement growing among factions of Zephyron's populace who resisted the mingling of their culture with that of the humans. It came to a boiling point during a public forum where tensions erupted, raising a voice against union and change. Leora and Sebastian were in attendance, and they exchanged worried glances as they prepared for the backlash. A vocal opposition group, led by an influential elder, spoke passionately against the possibility of a hybrid family, igniting sparks of dissent among those still wary. "We must uphold the dignity of our traditions," the elder proclaimed, her voice ringing with fervor. "This union tarnishes the purity of what it means to be a Zephyrian. We must protect our heritage from foreign influences." Sebastian felt Leora tense beside him, an unease coursing through the air like a freight train barreling down the tracks. This was no longer solely about Sebastian and Leora. It was a battle for identity for both their peoples. With the eyes of the crowd upon them, and Leora holding his hand tightly, Sebastian took a step forward, determined to confront the animosity directly. "I am not here to tarnish anything," he declared, his voice resounding against the stark silence. "I am here because I stand alongside Leora and Kelia, because I believe love transcends tradition." The murmurs of dissent surged, but Sebastian held his ground. We're not just strangers and traditions clashing. We have the chance to create a new beginning. The beauty we bring together can pave the way for a future filled with understanding and cooperation. Isn't that worth fighting for? In that moment, he saw Leora's face light with fierce pride, and he knew they had to embrace the storm, to stand firm against the shadows, threatening to unravel what they had worked so hard to build. Together, they would navigate this turbulent sea, forging ahead into the unknown. The confrontation in the public forum served as a catalyst for Sebastian and Leora. The words exchanged lingered in the air, a reminder of the complexities they faced as they stood at the crossroads of two worlds. There was no turning back now. They had to navigate through the tumultuous waters of opposition to preserve the bond they had forged. In the days that followed, Sebastian focused on strengthening his connection with Kelia, becoming not just a parental figure, but also a confidant. Their shared moments grew increasingly significant as they explored Zephyron's breathtaking landscapes, gentle rolling hills adorned with bioluminescent flora, whispering forests that swayed in the gentle breeze, and sparkling lakes that mirrored the vibrant skies. One day, as they trekked along the shores of a crystalline lake, Sebastian turned to Kelia, who collected smooth stones, her pockets bulging. "You have quite the collection there," he chuckled, kneeling beside her. "What's the plan for all these?" "They make good gifts," she exclaimed, suddenly animated, as she picked out one particularly shiny rock. "I can give them to my friends. I'm bringing a piece of our adventure back with me." Her enthusiasm was infectious, and he marveled at her ability to transcend the worries that weighed upon them. "That's a fantastic idea, Kelia." He paused, pondering for a moment. "You know, I could help you make some art with those stones. Something that combines a little bit of both our worlds." Her eyes lit up, and just like that, the heavy weight of uncertainty melted away. They spent the afternoon crafting a mosaic on the banks of the lake, each stone representing a laugh, a memory, or a lesson learned from adventures together. What started as mere pieces of rock transformed into an artwork symbolizing their unity and love, a fusion of cultures reflected in vibrant patterns. Meanwhile, Leora worked fervently behind the scenes, engaged in conversations with community leaders willing to listen. Together, they strategized on how to bridge the gap between the opposition and the acceptance they had begun to witness. She sought to harness the voices of those supportive of unity to counteract the negativity that threatened to derail their journey. One evening, Leora called a meeting with key supporters from both the human and Zephyrian sides, individuals willing to foster change. "We're at a turning point," Leora proclaimed, her voice steady yet resolute. "But we can't act alone. We need all of you to share your stories, to show the beauty of our bond and the strength it represents." Sebastian joined her, feeling a surge of pride as they stood together. He observed the varying expressions on the faces of their audience, many of whom were hesitant, but the room filled with energy as stories flowed, tales of compassion that broke barriers and showcased the transformative power of love. It wasn't easy. The competition between tradition and evolution was palpable. Yet, the more they shared, the more visible the shifting dynamics became. They began to see the barriers eroding, fears giving way to empathy. One evening, the community returned to the same open-air forum where they had faced condemnation just weeks prior. This time, they brought drums, instruments, vibrant food, and most importantly, stories of their exchange, an event that would celebrate the merging of their lives and traditions. Kelia painted her stone mosaic in a prominent space, displaying their teamwork and creativity for all to see. The sight captivated the gathering, who paused to admire the artwork, a symbol born from the depths of uncertainty, now shining with possibility. As the crowd grew, Sebastian turned to Leora, and they shared a look of determination. They took the stage together, their presence radiating confidence as they prepared to voice the importance of unity forged through connection. Leora began, her words flowing effortlessly as she spoke of the long history of her people, the strength of their traditions, and the promise of a future that embraced diversity. "We can honor our past while also embracing change," she urged, eliciting nods of agreement. "Together, we create a new legacy," Sebastian added, a melody composed of both our voices that can resonate through the ages, harmonizing into a symphony. He continued passionately, recounting tales of how their shared experiences as a blended family had enriched their lives. Love knows no boundaries. It transcends our fears and teaches us what it means to stand united, regardless of heritage. The crowd began to feel the infectious energy that enveloped the air, the sentiments resonating deep within. Encouragement emerged from all directions. People stepped forward, sharing their own stories, vignettes of acceptance, moments of joy, and paths that led to genuine connections, transcending the lines drawn between their cultures. As the evening progressed, something magical unfolded. Smiles replaced apprehension, and the community grew vibrant with acceptance and understanding. Here, in this moment, the promise of a future paved with love and respect blossomed. Sebastian felt the warmth of Leora's hand clasping his tightly, the pulse of solidarity driving them forward. Together, they had transformed the tide of sentiment within their community, expanding the dreams that lay before them. As the stars began to twinkle in the vast Zephyrian sky, they took a moment to reflect on how far they'd come. The weight of the world felt lighter, ignited by an unwavering determination to protect their love against those who feared change. The following weeks were a whirlwind of change and acceptance as the momentum from their community gathering rippled throughout Zephyron. The tales shared during the festival had ignited a spark within both societies. Conversations blossomed where once there had been silence, and bonds were formed from the very fabric of shared stories. Sebastian continued to immerse himself in the wonders of Zephyron, eagerly learning more about Leora's culture, while she explored earthly traditions through his eyes. Together, they created a beautiful tapestry, an ever-evolving relationship that embraced the distinctiveness of their backgrounds while fostering harmony. Kelia thrived in this nurturing environment, showcasing her vibrant personality as she danced between both worlds. With each passing day, she became more comfortable calling Sebastian Dad, her trust blooming effortlessly. Their bond grew stronger, each shared laugh and unique experience sewing them firmly into the fabric of family. One peaceful evening, beneath the shimmering stars reflected in the lake, Sebastian and Leora decided it was time to further solidify their commitment. They devised a small ceremony, a melding of their cultures, where each would represent their traditions while also creating something new. As they came together on the shore, surrounded by their closest friends and family, the air buzzed with excitement and anticipation. The setting was simple yet breathtaking. A lush array of bioluminescent flowers gave the backdrop an ethereal quality, their radiance casting gentle light on the soon-to-be family. Leora donned flowing garments embroidered with patterns that told the stories of her heritage. Her beauty was palpable as she stood confidently beside Sebastian, who had traded his uniform for a tailored outfit that represented the melding of their cultures. The colors a brilliant mix of Earth's tones intertwined with Zephyron's brilliance. Kelia stood before them, clutching the stone mosaic they had crafted together, representing their blended families, a symbol of love brought to life. As she presented it, she spoke from her innocent heart. "This is our story, a reminder that we belong to each other." The moment was seared into Sebastian's memory, the energies of nature around them resonating with joy. As they exchanged vows, Leora's voice was strong and clear, carrying weight and purpose. "I promise to walk alongside you, to fortify our bond, and to nurture the connection between our worlds." Sebastian's heart swelled as he reciprocated. "I vow to protect, cherish, and honor you both. Together, we will create a bridge of love that withstands time and tradition." The guests erupted into joyous applause, their hearts joining together in celebration. It felt as though the very fabric of existence sang, as if the stars above looked down and shared in their joy. As the ceremony concluded, cheers and laughter filled the air. The families mingled freely, eager to unite in their acceptance. What had once been a divided community found a spark of hope within this unity, as people began to understand that differences could be the key to growth and strength. In the days that followed, news of Sebastian and Leora's union spread far and wide, an emblem of healing, acceptance, and love. Through their struggle, a movement began to flourish, leading to further alliances between humans and Zephyrians. These efforts aim to foster understanding through education, shared experiences, and empathy. With the newfound harmony, Kelia blossomed into her own, her laughter echoing in gardens filled with flowers from both worlds, a child representing a future where love triumphed over fear. Sebastian felt pride as he witnessed her evolving sense of identity, establishing herself as a leading figure who would inspire others to embrace differences. But it wasn't without challenges. Skeptics still existed, and Sebastian and Leora resolved to confront issues head-on, not back down. They held forums, discussions, bridging gaps between cultures, and reminding everyone that love transcends all divisions. As time ebbed like the tides, the once fractured community glowed in the aftermath of their journey, steadfast, united, and ever-evolving. One evening, as they gathered by the lake, the stars twinkling above in all their glory, Sebastian turned to Leora, his heart marrying past to future. "You showed me that true strength lies in love and vulnerability," he said softly. "This is just the beginning for us, isn't it?" Leora smiled, her eyes reflecting the shimmering skies above. "Indeed, together we can build legacies that span across our world and into the next. One day, Kelia will carry our story forward, and I know she will change the world." In that sacred space, surrounded by the essence of love, nurture, and hope, they clasped hands tightly, their hearts intertwined as they envisioned the dawn of their new journey. Tailored from the very fabric of their unique experiences, two worlds embracing the beauty of connection. And so the story continued, a song echoing through the galaxies, where love knew no boundaries, a promise of new beginnings and endless possibilities.